What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Basement YouTube channel, the Sports Network. We're here after a big win, 31-27. I'm going to call it a big win because it was looking poor at a point. The vibes were down during the halftime spaces. We were bringing people up. People were upset about the defense, the performance. They allowed pretty much no points in the second half. No points in the second half. Offense continues to roll. Jaylen, Waddle, Tyreek, we'll get into all of it. I'm joined by Nando and JMV for now. More people might be stopping by. But Nando, I'm going to start with you, man, because we were talking about this during the halftime spaces. This defense was abysmal in the first half, could not stop anybody. The team rallies, to say the least. Defense gives up 0 points in the second half. Tua Tagovailoa has a masterclass of a third quarter, and the Dolphins pretty much just hung on to the lead the entirety of the fourth. Nando, I'm going to start with you, man. Thoughts after that incredible second half?
Listen, they adjusted just like they needed to. They cleaned up a lot of things. Obviously, penalties were still an issue. I felt like we were talking about this a little bit before we went on air. The game went by fast as hell, and that's with a whole bunch of penalties thrown, which is just crazy. But my thoughts, man, is listen, you were down by 10 at halftime. You needed a touchdown right to start the second half. That's exactly what the Dolphins team delivered. And I'm just so glad to see this team, capitalize. All right. Giving up 0 points in the second half. That's big time. And then just shout out to Tua, man. I remember earlier in our stream throughout the week, I said, this is going to be a big game for Tua. I said personally, Tua was going to throw 3 touchdowns, and he did. Should have been 4, but man, listen, 400 total yards for the man. This is exactly what this Dolphins team needed. This is what Tua needed. And listen, games that he starts and finishes, the team is 5-0. That is nothing to sleep on. And I'm just so glad on third down with the game on the line pretty much, you put it at the hands of Tua to get you that first down and deliver. And also earlier when they went for it on fourth down, this was early on in the game, they trusted Tua to make the throw, to deliver that first down. Third down efficiency went up today. That's another great thing. Nothing but great vibes. And I like to see Tua just doing his thing out there, man. The dude is looking good. I don't care if it's against the 32nd ranked defense. Miss me with that shit, man, because those same people would hate if he didn't do it. So give the man his props. Tua looking like the real fucking deal, man.
Just to add on to that, the man has 1,678 yards in 6 games, 12 touchdowns, 3 picks, and over 115 passer rating. So, yeah, number 1 in the NFL in passer rating, number 1 in the NFL in QBR. He's top 10, top 5 in a lot of categories. Third down efficiencies through the roof. Red zone efficiencies through the roof. And it's not like he's played bad defenses either. He started the year with a very tough stretch, and he's done it against everybody. So,
shout out my guy, Kai. Fins for the win again. This is exactly what we need. Thank you for the $199 dono, Kai. Can't wait to be back with you soon, my guy. But this win.
Yeah.
You mentioned it, but Tua, all those stats. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Tua's stats were going to be like this through 6 games, I would have been over the moon. This is ridiculous. He has been a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League this season. JMV, he got everybody involved, kind of. I know it was about Tyreek and Waddle for the most part, but I like in the red zone the throw to Gesicki. He was getting Sherfield involved.
Yep.
I mean, that would have been a touchdown. Like this team, he threw the ball to Sanders more than I would have liked, but he was making plays. Obviously, Ingold got involved.
Bro, I couldn't find the link. My bad. All
right, I'll throw it to you, Jay. We were just talking about Tua. Just encapsulate this performance.
We're talking about this guy?
That guy.
This to me is a top Tua performance of the season or of his career.
Including college. I think this is his best performance ever.
Hey, shout that dono real quick before we get to that.
Stop comparing Wilson Urbana to Oos.
Urbana.
Hey,
I just want to say, so I guess it was rust, huh?
Yeah.
Everyone was getting their feelings. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, guys, is he okay? Guys, maybe the first 3 weeks, he's back." I know it's the Lions, but like everyone's like, "Oh, it's the Lions. We expect perfection," and obviously they were being like hyperbolic with that statement, but he still did it. He was very perfect. He was literally perfect, perfection. This game might be better than the Ravens game. It's definitely better than the Cardinals game. I'll tell you that much. And by the way, I just want to say this because again, this is something that happens all the time within the Dolphins community. This is another win because of Tua. Because of Tua. Yo, Tua doesn't play that game. We are getting cooked. We are getting cooked. So shout out to Tua Tagovailoa. I love to see that. I'm so glad I have his jersey now. I can rep him. Like, it's so great. But like, shout out to Tua Tagovailoa. We just won because of him. He's diming all over the field. By the way, we don't like gas him up enough like obviously I think we do as us four, but I don't think like Dolphins like people like gas him up enough of what he does on third down this year. But over his entire career, especially in the NFL, what he does in the fourth quarter is ridiculous. And he had 2 cold-blooded throws for the drive-ending game. That throw to Tyreek Hill on the left sideline was a beautiful ball. I actually don't even know how that was completed. There was obviously the ball, the last throw of the game, which got us the first down to Tyreek Hill. And then there was also a throw like in the third quarter, which was like only a 2-yard throw. It won't be on any highlights. It won't be anything. He's rolling out to his right. He's a left-handed quarterback. He has Mosher going to the side, like to the side, like to the sideline, and he throws a ball which, as a left-handed quarterback, like bends around the defensive back to Raheem Mostert. I don't understand how he did that. Like, I'll be honest, I have no clue the physics behind that. Like, if he's a right-hand quarterback, I get it. You can just like throw it around him. He's left-handed, so how the fuck? It's like. I understand that. Like, he was just balling. He was clearly in rhythm. And, man, shout to him hitting Tyreek, hitting Waddle. By the way, the commentators, sucked in the first half. All they did was talk about how...
The underthrows were pissing me off. Like, just the commentary behind it was pissing me off.
No, exactly. Listen, they are underthrows, and you have to commentate that. But the issue for me was when he would underthrow the ball. Yeah, he says underthrow. But then when he throws a dime to Jalen Waddle, he talks about Jalen Waddle's separation, not about the dime that Tua just threw. And I'm not saying that, like, you can't talk about Waddle. That's not my point. I'm not saying you have to get up to at every point you get. I'm just saying, if you're going to be so harsh on throws that are completed 40 yards down the field, how are you going to say, like, dimes are literally only because of the receivers? Like, it goes both ways. I'm just saying if you're going to go one way, you have to do it the other way, too. So if he's not going to gas up, if he just, like, talks about how it's an underthrow, like, normally it's not going crazy about the underthrows, then, yeah, I'd be fine. Like, talk about Waddle all you want. But if you're really going to nitpick Tua with throws that are completed down the field, then how are you going to how are you not going to gas him up when he's throwing actual, like, dimes, darts? This guy is playing at an elite level. This guy is playing as a top 10. We are undefeated in games he starts and finishes, man. We're 5-0 in games he starts and finishes. And someone tweeted it. This is only 6 games where Tua Tagovailoa has played with Mike McDaniel, and it's only like his 27th career start. Guys, we got one here, man. We got one. I like, if you're not on board now, I don't know when you will be, but he only has 6 starts with Mike McDaniel. That's clearly like a coach and quarterback kind of duo waiting to blossom. And while I'll be honest, I wasn't like in love with Mike McDaniel's game today. I'll be very, very honest. It was kind of tough from the coaching side of things. Tua Tagovailoa bail this out, and we get another huge performance because that's an 80% completion percentage, no? 29 for 36, that's 80%, right?
Yep. Yeah.
80%, 300 something yards, 3 touchdowns. And by the way, should have been 4 touchdowns. Yeah. That was ridiculous that Mike McDaniel, this is a part of me saying like he didn't have the best coaching game. The fact that he did not challenge that, and I'm just saying because obviously I'm a Tua fan, I want him to get the touchdown. But if I would have been livid, so livid if we didn't score after that because it was clearly a touchdown and they went to the hip. It's like, dude, take your time and look at the play because if we can all see it from one angle that we're watching on broadcast, you know NFL teams, they're rich as fuck. They can have every single angle you could ever want on that sideline. You're telling me you didn't see that and knew it was a touchdown right away? And you're telling me the other thing is, and if you don't have this person on staff, you don't have a person on the staff to call down and be like, yo, challenge that shit right now. You need that to be a position on your staff. You need someone to do that because, again, let's say, again, it's a Week 8 game against the Lions. If this is a playoff game and that happens, I am livid, especially if we don't score, because that score won us the game. We only won by 4 points. And then I know I was supposed to just talk about Tua, but now I'm on the Mike McDaniel thing. Mike McDaniel was having a rough game. I didn't love his play calls. And the drive before the third last drive of the game, when we ran the ball twice with Chase Edmonds and then just passed the ball on third down, we were only up by 4 points at that time, and it felt like we were getting super conservative. It's like, dude, let's step on their throats. Tua is clearly balling. Tua is clearly the one balling. It's not the run game at all this game. It's clearly Tua, and you were clearly being conservative and trying to get the run game going too far. Give the ball to Tua Tagovailoa like you did on the last drive and step on their throats. Put up another touchdown. We should not be winning against the Detroit Lions by only 4 points. That should not be the case. Now, obviously, with context, after being down 14-0, you'll take it every time. That's not my point. I'm just saying there's definitely times where Mike McDaniel needs to get his head out of his own ass right now. And this is coming from a guy who was so happy to get Mike McDaniel, so electric to get McDaniel, so ecstatic to get Mike McDaniel. Like, I was on the train forever. And listen, I'm still on it. I still think he's great. I think this is just a rookie head coach going through the things that make you a great head coach. This is what all head coaches go through when you first get that job. This is his first time. It's not like his second go around or anything like that. This is his first time. So I think it's going to all come together near the end of the season. But, man, shout out to Tua Tagovailoa. Shout out to Jalen, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. That's one of the best trios in the NFL, if not the best trio in the NFL.
Adding on to that.
Hi, for the 199 dono. Jonathan Cardonathan, hiding from the truth. He is. This is factual. This is 100%. I don't know how the Noah agenda did today. It was whatever. He really didn't play that much because Kohu was back. Crossing made a couple of big plays too. Jay, you talked about a lot of things there. Nano, I'm going to pass it right back to you. You did end with Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. I want to give them their flowers because sometimes I think we take this for granted. Nobody is putting up numbers like Tyreek Hill is right now. This man, again, 188 yards, 15 yards a catch. Absolutely ridiculous. I got to throw it to you. Fine, I'll throw it to JMV.
Yeah. Let JMV cook.
Jaylen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Talk about either of them. Talk about both. This is the best receiving duo in the National Football League. I don't even think it's a debate right now. But how special is this duo? Because it's just off the charts right now.
No, they're both special, man. They're both special talents. They complement each other to perfection. They complement Tua's game to perfection, and make for all the deficits that he's had in terms of his coaching over the last few games. His play calling has been phenomenal. And Tyreek Hill, great route runner. Jaylen Waddle, great route runner. They're both sharp off the cuts. They're constantly open, man. And Tyreek Hill, I felt like sometimes the secondary was, he's going to go deep. And they start playing back and they start playing the deep ball, and then Tyreek Hill just quick curl route, and then we get 15, 20 yards, or it's a post route or whatever it is. But, bro, they are eating in the middle of the field. And over the first 2 years of Tua's career, the middle of the field was non-existent practically. Aside from a few games that we played some depleted secondaries, the middle of the field was always a problem. And it's something that us Dolphins fans wanted to see more of. But this year, man, Tua is killing it in the middle of the field. He's atop of the boards in every statistical category across the NFL when you're throwing to the middle of the field. It's arguably, I think it's his highest passer rating, the middle of the field when it's being targeted. So, bro, they're special, man. They're special. I think they are the best duel in the NFL, and then probably Chase and Higgins after, but they're special.
I mean, when we kind of knew this would happen, right? Like when we knew the vision, okay, you're going to pair up the two fastest guys in the NFL, the receiver position, it's going to work out. But I couldn't even have anticipated this. If you would have told me that Tyreek Hill was on pace to break the Calvin Johnson receiving record, I would have told you Jaylen Waddle's probably not having a great year just because of the target share, not to mention Hill leading the NFL in receptions.
Let me throw a question back to you, Alex, and then you guys can harp on it. We, as us Dolphins fans, we thought that this team was going to be a pass first. Despite the media and Mike McDaniel and all that bullshit, this is going to be a run first team. Every single one of us thought this was going to be a pass first team. Why is the run game not working when the pass game is working so well? And it should complement and open up gaps for this run game to work.
100%. I was going to get to the run game next because Mostert is having a fine season, I'd put it. I think he does his job. He got banged up on the first run of the game, and I immediately
he got rocked.
That he came back into the game, and obviously he finished with 64 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. Again, will they make a move at the deadline for a running back that could help that? Maybe. I want to say it's the blocking scheme, but honestly, there were some good moments in the run game today where I saw Mostert break things off. But to me, Mostert doesn't necessarily break a ton of tackles, especially hard-hitting tackles. I don't know if that's what has to happen. But the offensive line too. Prayers up to Liam. I really hope he's okay. But first thing they did is they ran right backup left guard. Jones came in, they ran right down there, and it worked out for him. So, is that Kai? Tired Kai? Kai is moving currently. We wish him luck in that endeavor. Kai, quick thoughts on the game?
Shout out Kai.
I know you want to talk about Mike McDaniel, Kai.
Okay, I got someone solo scream me real quick. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what's going on.
No, we can hear you.
I need a solo screen. All right. Listen, I'm in a Chipotle parking lot, and I've been moving since 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm still not done. This Chipotle bowl that I'm about to get is going to be the first meal I've had all day. I just have to say, where the fuck is the energy, Alex? This is a win where everyone was talking shit because we were losing to the fucking Detroit Lions. Tyreek Hill almost put up 200 points. Jaylen Waddle, fuck you, JMV, because I traded him to you and he scored 2 touchdowns today. Scores. Fucking Raheem Mostert doesn't do shit for me. But Tua puts up 3 touchdowns, 30 fucking points in fantasy. Like, where's the energy? And ringing the donos. You just go, shout out to Gotcha, choosing for dono. Come on. You're supposed to have the energy of everybody here. Alex, you're the one that's supposed to have the energy. I'm on 3 hours of sleep. I cannot have more energy than you. What is this? This is a win. Fuck. All right, you can take me off for solo. But goddamn it, man.
You're right.
You know what?
You're right.
No,
I gotta do my part.
wait.
What?
Mike McDaniel, fuck you, Juan. Mike McDaniel, great coach. We won the game. Tua had a great performance. Look, I'm just happy because we won a game. And I think Jay in his 20-minute monologue mentioned it. Tua 5-0 when starting and finishing games. Life is great. I called him dog shit in the beginning of the second half of the Baltimore game. I take it back. The man is a dog. I yield my time.
I will say this.
Kai, enjoy those 6 Mark Andrews points, and thank you for the 30 from Jaylen Waddle.
Oh, I will enjoy those 6 in my money league because I traded that motherfucker for what is his name? Ramondre Stevenson. So you know what? I love that anyways.
Hey,
I don't care if it's the Lions.
Hey, it's the Lions.
A win is a win in the NFL. Everyone's talking shit about the Jets because they beat the Dolphins. Look at Zach Wilson against the Patriots. You're losing to Mac Jones, McCorkle Jones. What the fuck is this shit?
We lost to Jacksonville and Atlanta last year, bro. I'll take a dub against anybody.
Zach Wilson was carried by his defense and run game. He sucked.
Everyone acts like, oh, wins are so easy in the NFL. We do too. We said, oh, we're going to fucking steamroll the Lions. Granted, we did not. But, the Lions offense has been putting up points. That's undeniable. They had a couple bad weeks, but their record does not show their team. Just like we were talking about coaching with Mike McDaniel, if the coaching was better for the Lions, they could have a better record. Amon-Ra St. Brown is very good. They have a duo at running back that is fucking insane. Jamal Williams, I think, probably leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. He had 2 today. I think he has 8 or 9. DeAndre Swift is fantastic. Jared Goff, for whatever reason, hasn't been horrible. Yeah, it's the Lions, but their record does not show how bad they are. And the bottom line is you went and you got to win on the road, and Tua played great. Doesn't matter what team you play. A win is a win is a win is a win.
And not only that, you got to win on the road for a team that plays hard, and you were down 14-0 at one point. That's adversity, and Mike McDaniel keeps saying adversity's making this team. Here's what I will tell you, Kai, and you talked about it in one of your earlier donations. If Justin Herbert is the quarterback of this fucking team, we lose because of a fourth quarter interceptions. Fuck you, Charger fans. All 6 of you that found my tweet about another interception by the Golden Boy. The next Marino, toe-to-toe with Mahomes, toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. There's only one quarterback to beat that man this year, and he plays for our fucking team. Tua Tagovailoa was a quarterback in the National Football League. You can't tell me otherwise. This team is undefeated if Tua finishes every game. You can't tell me otherwise. Bailing out the defense, bailing out a record-setting amount of penalties, doing whatever it takes to get Tyreek Hill his numbers, Jaylen Waddle his numbers. We talk about trade Mike Gesicki. This dude's got 4 touchdowns this year. Getting him involved. It is good fucking shit. This is what we need.
Yeah.
8-0. Kai, you got me fired up now.
Bro, it's so funny.
I'm going to get my Chipotle bowl.
On every chart, listen, I'm not trying to compare. I'm not.
You're getting smacked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for cutting you off. You're getting smacked on Christmas.
Thank you.
We're all going to that game. You're coming with us, and you're gonna watch the ass whooping firsthand.
Have to. Don't they? Who does Green Bay play tonight? Buffalo.
I don't know, but I'm personally buying Royals tickets so that he can sit next to me and enjoy that ass whooping firsthand.
100%. Especially. Oh yeah. Dude, those corners are going to get cooked. Nando, I haven't heard from you in a minute. We've talked about the receivers. We've talked about Mike McDaniel. We've talked about the quarterback. Who do you want to talk about, Nando? I'll throw it to you. Go ahead.
I want to definitely shout out Raheem Mostert because in the first half, he only had 12 yards rushing, 4 carries. I wanted to see him get more involved in the second half, and he did so. He ended up with 14 carries for 64 yards. I think that's big time. I mean, we talked about Tua. We talked about the receivers. I mean, Tyreek Hill is definitely the best receiver I've seen. I mean, shit, man. Best player. I mean, best player I've seen, honestly, that I got to really appreciate and enjoy. I saw Jason Taylor towards the tail end of his career. I saw Zach Thomas towards the tail end of his career. Jason Taylor, Dolphins career. So honestly, Tyreek Hill, and this is only 8 games in, and the impact that this dude has made is just unbelievable. I think we do have to talk about the trade deadline though, because it is on Tuesday, and we stream on Wednesday, so we definitely do need to touch on that. I want to hear a lot of you guys' thoughts because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Kareem Hunt, and I think the Kareem Hunt edition, I think the Kareem Hunt edition would be nice to this team, but I just think the way this defense is playing, I talked about it in the halftime stream. I really think that we need to address defense as a top priority ahead of this trade deadline, not necessarily running back. And I'm curious to hear you guys all your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so let's get into the defense a little bit, then we'll get into the trade deadline, because obviously the defense did rally. We have to give them some flowers for that. I know it's the Lions. I know they didn't play that well, and yes, the Lions had a bunch of penalties in the second half as well. I think when they came out of the second half, and it was like 1st and 15, then 25, then 30, the corner stepped up. I think Kader Kohu had a very good second half, and I think he had a nice little bounce-back game. I know he kind of had a poor game before his injury, or maybe he got hurt in that game. But the defense, to me, it starts with the linebackers. This might be one of the worst linebacking cores in the NFL. Straight up. Elandon Roberts is terrible. Roquan Smith is the number one name that I have.
That would be amazing.
Go back to your question. I like Jerome Baker. I don't necessarily know they're using him the right way right now. This man needs to be a blitzer. I like him in coverage, but it's not working. Elandon Roberts is terrible, but Duke Riley does have some nice moments. I can't even lie to you. And obviously Van Ginkel is Van Ginkel. But to be completely honest with you, I think the defense is the biggest weakness of the team. I think I would address, like you were saying, a defensive player, maybe a corner player, a safety. Eric Rowe was a healthy scratch today. Maybe we'll get into that. That was interesting. Not sure if they're trying to move that contract or something. JMD, I want to throw it to you to talk about the defense. Good second half, but overall, what are your thoughts? You can go unit by unit, you can do whatever. I mean, the whole second half, they also, by the way, could not line up in the fucking neutral zone to save their life. That was.
I think Detroit in the second half was beating themselves, if I'm being honest. I don't think we adjusted a little bit, but I think Detroit was beating themselves, and they had penalties that were destroying them. They had a drive late in that third quarter that they went all the way to 1st and 30 just because penalty after penalty after penalty. Like, that was one of our only 2 stops of the day, like on punts. And then the other one was the 4th and 2 stop that we got at the end of the game. So I think Detroit was beating themselves. I don't want to give too much credit to the defense. I know they allowed 0 points in the second half. Detroit was still moving that damn football, and we could do little about it throughout the entire game, first half and second half. They just beat themselves. And on the flip side, you had Miami constantly getting a 3rd and long, but Tua was converting. That was really the difference maker in this game. Detroit couldn't convert on their 3rd and longs because of penalties, and we did. But Roquan Smith I'm praying. I'm praying for him.
Dream. I will say this about the pass too. I thought Jalen Phillips had a nice game. I know I hate to say, like, oh, he's so close to the sack, and he's just a few.
He's getting held, I swear.
I thought him and Wilkins were held a lot during the game. I was pissed at Wilkins because he had 3 neutral zone infraction penalties. I thought Jalen Phillips had a pretty decent game, though. He was putting out the effort. But for me, it's the linebackers and the cornerback play. The whole secondary in general was getting burned in the first half. I love Javon Holland. Think he's one of the best safeties, if not the best safeties in the NFL. Terrible first half. Was 100%.
I will say, though, and I think I'm going to be the lone guy here when talking about the trade deadline and the defense, unless you're talking about Roquan Smith in general, just that's my one exception, Roquan Smith. There's really nobody that we can get that's going to change this defense. It's still going to be a bucket of ass. We're dealing with a lot of injuries. So unless you're going to take care, and which has never happened in the history of the sport, you're going to literally go secondary, then linebackers, then defensive line. You're going to go piece by piece and address all the needs that this defense has. It's still going to be trash. So I don't want to put like assets into just bandages on the defense. Now, Roquan is not a bandage. That guy he's him. Roquan Smith is the best middle linebacker, in my opinion, in the NFL, and he would be nice next to Jerome Baker. But aside from that, I would rather throw myself at Kareem Hunt and, take my chances, make the offense better, because this team is going to have to win football games when they matter down the stretch, but on the offensive side of the ball. So if I can make the offense a little better, I'd rather do that than throw a bandage on defense, unless you're talking Roquan Smith.
I wouldn't mind throwing like a 6th or 7th round pick just to get another body in the secondary, because we have bro, if we have one more injury, we might be cooked, especially losing Brandon Jones now. I'm just saying, we just need to bring in another body. I'm not trying to spend a 4th or 5th round pick or anything. Just bring a 6th or 7th round pick. They don't have to be good. It could literally be Sidney Jones. That's all I'm talking about right now. A guy like Sidney Jones, you're not trying to get go crazy with it. Just another body in case someone gets hurt, because the secondary room is shot. It is shot to hell. Who knows when Byron Jones is coming back? God knows. Personally,
who?
Yeah, personally.
Oh, I wish there was a guy on our roster who used to play safety, transitioned to corner. Maybe he was voted captain by his peers. Oh, Jay, you're talking about Byron Jones?
Byron Jones.
Captain? Leader? We'll see. Probably not playing at all this season.
I think he plays last game in the Dolphins uniform.
We can only hope. We can only hope because we need a new captain.
It really sucks because honestly, like this defense, if he was healthy or if he was smart enough to have his, surgery and be out there on the field, like this defense would be good because you can run that cover zero excellent, like with two cornerbacks that are shut down pretty much with Byron Jones and X. But it just sucks. Like it's literally like this shit is his fault. And this is our captain. This is our leader, like you say, man. It's a shame.
You elect to have the surgery whenever you want. Like that's what you do. You elect to have it. Your doctor, your agent, whoever recommended it to you. But like you make the personal choice, and he got it super late in the offseason. I think the Dolphins need to make a few small trades. Guys like William Jackson are on my radar. I think he could be had from Washington. He's a good man corner. I know there's some guys over in Carolina, even though they just threw a Hail Mary.
This is where that first-round pick hurts, man. Like losing that extra first-round pick, bro, this hurts.
100%. But I hope they add some insurance policies, especially on the defense. And speaking of insurance policies, I'm going to talk about the primary sponsor of the basement, Simple Health Advisors. Insurance doesn't need to be complicated. Email them or give them a call today and tell them that the basement send you. Email our guy, James Poe at simplehealthadvisors.com, jpoe at simplehealthadvisors.com, or call the number 321-345-7738. One more time, 321-345-7738. All right. Last points on the defense, then we're going to get into the trading deadline topics because I know there's guys like Kareem Hunt. I know that there was rumors before that the Dolphins were considering things with Mike Gesicki,
Jeff Wilson.
Like yep. Absolutely. Jeff Wilson could be available. Cedric Wilson could maybe be on the move. We've been talking about that. Mike McDaniel said in the press conference, you're going to see more Cedric Wilson. I only saw him more on special teams. He really didn't play that much receiver today. Again, they went to Sherfield, and now Braylon Sanders gets receptions and targets before he does. I don't think this guy is going to work out. Like, you got to make a move there. But last thoughts on the defense, Josh Boyer. I want everybody's opinion on Josh Boyer because I feel like we don't talk about him enough. We talk about a lot about the personnel. I think Josh Boyer today, I know we won the game. Today was my last. Any semblance of hope I had in Josh Boyer died today. These guys don't line up on sides. That is coaching. It was the same issue over and over and over again. You saw it on Twitter. Mike McDaniel, one of the nicest guys in the world, is literally looking at him and saying, get this shit fucking fixed, bro. Like this, it's inexcusable. You cannot have, especially at the end of that first half, what a fucking disaster that was. To have everybody lining up on the goal line and pretty much just lining up three dudes on the line of scrimmage, and you still cannot line up on sides. That is elementary school stuff. It is peewee football level coaching.
How do you line up off sides and allow a 15-yard run?
It's unbelievable. I've never seen it. The offense totally bailed us out today, and I understand that the defense totally bailed the offense out last week. But you're not going to – this is not sustainable. They need to play complementary football. And in my opinion, you have a higher chance of the offense showing up every single week than you do the defense. I also want to talk a little bit about Xavien before I pass the rock around to Josh Boyer and some of these other guys. He don't look the same this year, man. Someone has to say it. He looks slow. I don't know if it's the groin or groin's injuries that he's got, but
it might be someone else. I don't know what we talking about.
I don't know. I don't know if he was distracted today because of some off the field stuff that's been circulating around. But this man does not look the same. He was getting cooked by a dude who was a local substitute teacher. Y'all catch that in the broadcast? Local substitute teacher gave X the work in the first half. Can't happen. I'm going to start with you, JMV. What's your thoughts on Josh Boyer? Are you done with him? Even if we make the playoffs this year, are you like, call Vic Fangio, call somebody else? Because that's where I'm at.
No, Vic is the clear one, like number one choice. That for sure. For sure. It's crazy, too, when you mentioned the onside, bro. Christian Wilkins, a guy that's been here, 4 years already? Bro, experience. For him to get 3 neutral zone infractions in the same quarter, like, nonetheless, that's ridiculous. I've never seen that. These penalties today, bro, are they actually record-breaking? They felt like they were record-breaking.
I think they would have been if they were all accepted, but I swear 80% of the penalties were declined because it necessarily didn't matter. They would get penalties and they would still get 25 yards. So I think it would be damn near close to it, bro. But
no, Josh Boyer though, like to your point, yeah, I'm done with him, but I'm not throw too much onto him because at the end of the day, I've always been a guy that says, players matter, and the players on the field right now are dog shit. Like you go around the entire defense, and I mean, I don't want to say Vernon McKinley can't, improve, but he didn't play well today. Cater Cole, who had a few good plays here and there, but he was also getting burnt. Crossan was also getting burnt, even though he had a crucial third down pass deflection. X is consistently getting burnt. The linebackers suck. We can't get any pressure. JP's the only guy that's constantly getting pressure, and he's getting double teamed the entire game because nobody else is going to get pressure, and everybody knows it. So players do matter, but the scheme, that's on coaching. The scheme is ass. The play calling is ass. And the penalties, that is on the coach as well. All of the coaching if we didn't have all these penalties, I would maybe give him a little bit of leeway. Mm-hmm. But everything that you see on the field every single Sunday, that's coaching. Yep. So yeah, I'm done with them. I don't care if we win out. I don't care if we get to the Super Bowl. He's gone. We got to make an upgrade at defensive coordinator.
Marcus Hunter brings up a good point here. Emmanuel Ogbah, what happened?
He was never a pass rusher. We all know this.
No, but this is not good. Like, they gave him good money. Like, pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty,
he's not even winning balls.
He's not. Some people thought he would get, but they made a commitment to him after he had a fantastic season last year. I'm very concerned about him. Like, you talk about bringing in a guy like Bradley Chubb. Like, I never expected at the deadline the Dolphins would need to add a pass rusher. I
think that's on the Dolphins, man. That's on the Dolphins overvaluing him, on the fan base for overvaluing him, putting him. I saw Dolphins fans last year, a lot of them saying, "Oh, top 10 pass rusher like Emmanuel Ogbah, top 10 end." Like, bro,
but the last few years he put up 18 sacks combined. He swat
because of the cover zero, man. We have consistently never gotten pressure if it's not because of the cover zero blitzes.
No, for sure. But that's what we do. That's he's a part of that. I'm not saying
you're just a product. You're a product of the scheme. That's what Emmanuel Ogbah is. He's a product of the scheme that Brian Flores was running for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. I will also fight back a little bit on the Boyer stuff because this was obviously his worst performance. I will say, though, he shut down Josh Allen, which was very, very nice to see. The Ravens game was obviously horrible. In the second half, he played well. He shut down Bill Belichick, which isn't that hard to do. The offense is dog shit. But I will say, and in the games without Tua, it's been okay. I'm not ready to throw him off a cliff. I will say in the offseason, you definitely look. We're obviously not firing him mid-season. I think in the offseason, if you can get a guy like Vic Fangio, obviously you go out and do that. It's just with all the injuries he's dealt with, it's kind of hard to put it all on him. When you have Xavien Howard literally playing with Noah Igbenogany and Justin Bethel last game, and he held the team to 10 points. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I don't care if it's the Steelers. You're literally playing a special teamer. This isn't even Keon Crossman, who had kind of a few reps at quarterback, and in the past, Justin Bethel was a pure special teamer playing cornerback, playing slot corner. So I know it's obviously this game is it's tough because the Lions just put up 27 on you. So this is a game right after where it's okay, we can actually kind of converge in on Josh Boyer and say this might not be working. I'm just saying we'll see, because he did shut down Josh Allen and he's been dealing with so many injuries. And like you said, you're saying Xavien Howard hasn't been that good. Emmanuel Ogbah hasn't been that good, and he's still playing relatively good defense overall. I think that's okay. Obviously this game was horrible though. This game was okay, because it took me from he could be something. He could be a guy who keeps progressing, keeps and is maybe a long-term defensive coordinator, to now it's it's kind of 50-50 for me.
Yep. Nando, what are your thoughts on Josh Boyer?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as Jay. I really, yes, it hasn't been a great performance. Thus far, especially today in the first half. But it's just hard, man. It's hard with the injuries he's dealing with. I do blame a lot of this on Byron Jones. I hate to point it on one guy, but honestly, it really is his fault. And with the injuries that he's dealt with, he's trying to do the best he can with what he has out there. At the end of the day, he did, held them to 0 points. I think he has a lot. You got to give him a lot of credit on there, because this could have got worse. He's making the adjustments. He's getting the job done to the best of his ability with what he has out there. I want to see the season play out. I want to see him try to, find something. I want to see what we do in the deadline, see if he can turn things around. I definitely think, but in the offseason, there's definitely a better candidate out there. But I do believe he's trying to do the best he can with what's out there. And a win is a win at the end of the day. And he's making adjustments. I really think that coaches that are able to make adjustments, especially mid-game, you saw him do it in the Baltimore game, against Buffalo as well. And this game, there's credit. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, he's awesome. But I'm not ready to just pack them up as many are. And I understand those who do. I do get it from both sides, but I'm a little bit more on the side of, giving him the benefit of the doubt based on what he's dealing with. And Xavien Howard, I think the way he's performing, I think it has to do a lot with his injuries. Playing with, with both groins. Come on, man. He's doing the best he can out there. And yeah, that's my stance on Boyer.
I just want to add something really quickly too. The loss of Byron Jones hurts more because our defense, one, is a nickel-based defense, which most defenses aren't. It's usually 3-4-4-3. We base out of a nickel. And we also, we built this defense around the two corners. Like, usually defenses will build around their defense line. They'll build around their edge, their edge guys, getting pressure. Our defense was literally built the opposite way. We built around Xavien Howard and Byron Jones playing man-to-man and letting us play. So him missing is a huge miss. It's probably, honestly, other than Xavien Howard, the most important player we have on the defense. He literally is the most important player.
I'd put him third behind just X and Holland. I guess you could say Phillips and Agba as a duo, but the way
but for the scheme specifically, it's Byron.
I think he's second.
The guys playing man on man.
I think both of those are 1 and 2. It is what it is. Honestly,
it's built around them playing.
Exactly.
It's literally built around them playing on an island. It's literally saying we know we have two guys who play on an island, and let's scheme around that. And now they can't do that because you have no Igbenogany out there. By the way, put on the orange arm sleeves again, bro. Take that shit off. Take that shit off. One, you're not drippy enough and you're not good enough to pull it off. Two, you're just giving them a view of where you are. Take that shit off, bro. If we're wearing white, we're all white, bro. Shit, wear green. Blend to the grass, dude. What the fuck?
When Noah's out there, bro, I swear offenses just run.
Bro, looks like a pylon out there. Go throw to me. Oh,
and they literally just run trips. It's always third and short. And they just have 3 receivers on that side and in the bunch. And he has no idea. He's always pointing and talking he's telling people where to go. And then he's got nowhere to go. He has no idea where he's going. I think they got to call for Jackson in Washington. I think it makes too much sense. And I actually think because of the contract, it could be for seriously pennies on the dollar. And take a flyer because I think Kohu has been great. Unfortunately, Nick Needham's not coming back this year. I don't think so. That's unfortunate. But if you would have told me that Kader Kohu's, cornerback 3, cornerback 4, I'm sitting there thinking that's pretty good, right? But cornerback 2 is an issue. And I don't know. Eric Rowe today being a scratch was shocking to me. I don't know. That was interesting. So we got the trading deadline coming up. Let's talk about that first. Then we can talk a little bit about Chicago before we wrap this up. I'm just going to go around the horn. Number 1 target that you want, and you can't say the person prior. Jay, I'll start with you.
All right, I just wanted to say really quickly because you just talked about William Jackson. I guess he'll be my guy because I want to talk about it. He signed in Washington for 3 years, $42 million. So before I get into it, if it works out, if we trade for him, then it's great because we have him under contract. If it doesn't work out, it's a big contract to take on. Obviously, you can see who's taking on the bonuses, who's playing the guaranteed money. However, this is a guy who is a primary man-to-man corner, and he signed in Washington who's running heavy zone. And he struggled, and that's why he requested a trade. So if you can bring him in here, drop him into the scheme where it is primarily man-to-man, and he plays well, again, with the contract, you do have him. That'd be great. You have him for 3 more years. The issue is it's risk versus reward. So if it doesn't work out, because even though he's a primary man-to-man corner, you can't just plop him in here and then boom, he'll be good. That's just not how it works, even though he should do better under this scheme, which is primarily man-to-man over a zone-heavy scheme. So William Jackson would be great. And again, because of his contract, because of him requesting his trade, everyone knows he wants to be gone. Everyone knows he's going to be gone. So it's not like they have value or leverage or anything like that. So if you can get him for a 5th round pick and let's say he hits, even if he's average, then you have 3 corners. And I'm not saying Byron Jones is coming back, but if he does, then you have William Jackson, Byron, and X. And if you don't have Byron, you have William Jackson. That could be really, really nice. Again, it's risk versus reward because if it doesn't hit, that is a big contract to take on. You could pay more draft capital to have the Washington side pay him the guaranteed money and take on some of that money. So it kind of it's a give and take, but that is definitely an intriguing option, at least for me, to kind of beef up this secondary as we make a push for the playoffs.
100%. And I'm really interested to see this team's approach at the deadline because you see teams like Philly being not just buyers, but very aggressive buyers, getting deals done early, willing to maybe overpay instead of making it, a conditional 5th or conditional 4th. They're saying whatever it takes to get this in. I don't anticipate Chris Greer doing that. I think him and Mike have probably talked about a list of guys that they're interested in and a price that they're willing to pay for that. And I just don't think they're going to be overly aggressive. But I do think that this team, especially with the Jets loss today, they're creeping back up. They beat Buffalo. I think that they can make a run here. And in the NFL, man, the playoffs are 1 game. And you have the best wide receiver doing in the NFL. They can win you a game, just like they did today. The offense won, and this trio now has to be respected as one of the most deadly in the league. You just have to. These guys are both in the top 5 in receiving, both over 100 yards today, and Tua's being Tua. So, JMV, who would you add to this team to make this push for the playoffs and more?
Bro, that's the easiest answer is Roquan Smith. There's no doubt about it. That is the answer. It is the answer at linebacker for a long time. He's 25, and you don't got to face him on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. That's an extra bonus. That's just like the cherry on top. Then I have to go up against him this upcoming Sunday. So, I mean, Roquan Smith is, to me, that's the answer. I've been pounding on that since the offseason. That's been my agenda since before the season started, and will continue to be my agenda, even if he doesn't get traded and we go into the offseason. That's my guy.
Yeah. I think Preacher Kai is here again. Kai, what's up?
Preacher Kai is here. There's a pause on my video. You guys can see me? All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just have one thing to say. I'm sorry to interrupt Dolphins conversation talk, but I just wanted to say, people, be nice to employees that work at restaurants and just in general. You know, there was a guy that was being a dick to this confused Chipotle cashier and fucked up the entire line, and the line is now outside of the door at Chipotle and fucked up the whole everything because he didn't want to wait for this dude's bowl to be made because his bowl was already done. Be nice to people. Don't cause issues. That's all I gotta say. That's about it. Let's try to be better.
Guys.
Treat people with respect. JMV, to go back to Roquan Smith, what are you paying for Roquan Smith?
The first, for sure. I am dropping the first without hesitation. I don't think that first-round pick is going to be a top 10 pick, especially after they got Christian McCaffrey. I know they're going through some injuries. Their schedule is not favorable for us. You know, I know we play them and we can help ourselves by beating them, and it's probably going to be a very important game when we, touch down in San Francisco later in the season. But they have an easy schedule, man. They play in the NFC. The NFC is dog shit. Yep. I would trade that first-round pick. Now the question is, I think they're going to get a first-round pick regardless. I don't think they're going to even listen to a conversation unless the team is willing to give up that first. I think the question being is, how much more are you willing to give after the first? Like, is the team willing to go a first and a third, or is Chicago willing to settle for a first and a four, for a fifth and a six, or whatever that may be? I think it's the secondary, asset, aside from that first-round pick, that's going to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Nando, is there somebody that you're targeting at the deadline, which I believe it's Tuesday, right? We record the preview episode.
Yeah, Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm. It'll already have happened by the next time you see us talking about it. So maybe there'll be some new Dolphins to talk about. Maybe there won't. But Nando, who are you hoping that the Dolphins either look into or potentially add on Tuesday's deadline?
Well, definitely hoping for Smith. That's number one. That's like JMV said, but I'm not going to throw that name out there. But let's let that be clear. Like, that is number one. Like, if you can get that will improve this team tremendously. And that is an absolute hole that you will fix not only for this season, but for years to come. Because that boy is still young, and he's that guy. Like, he really is. So I just want to throw that out there. That is number one on my list. Like, absolutely number one. But if I had a fallback option, I would try to go Bradley Chubb as number two. That's another guy that I would want. This guy is also young, and he has 5.5 sacks already this season. That's something that we can desperately use on this team, and especially from a linebacking position. So I'm going Bradley Chubb as my second option. Shaq Thompson is also one that I wouldn't mind as well. But Bradley Chubb will probably second on the list. Nonetheless, I want to see this team make moves to improve this defense. Like, these injuries are no joke, and who's to say that they're stopping? Like, you never know. You need depth, and right now that's what we're being challenged with. We need to figure that shit out, and Smith would be just icing on the cake, especially since you play Chicago coming up as well, like JMV said.
And
I think I read that Josh Allen might be available. Not the Buffalo Bills.
I didn't want to go there because it would just be too perfect.
It makes no sense to me why Jacksonville would be willing to move Josh Allen. But
I was going to bring this up.
I was like, what?
Let's get that contract right when he walks in the door.
Give him whatever he wants. It doesn't matter.
We have to pay him and Christian Wilkins.
With Kai's comment, I think the Dolphins will be intrigued and interested in a lot of people, but I don't think they're gonna. I really don't think.
Which, by the way, is kind of ridiculous because if we're gonna make a move, like I think I can say we are a win now team.
Yep,
you're gonna get off of Byron Jones' contract anyway. So if anything, Byron Jones' contract is gonna replace, hypothetically speaking, Roquan Smith's, which I don't think is gonna be to that level of what Byron Jones is getting paid.
Alex, throw Kai's next comment up there, the rap sheet. Like, I think this is ridiculous, to be honest with you, because again, this in the past I'd agree, we're not the team didn't deserve help, it didn't deserve we weren't ready to go. This team deserves help. This team deserves help to make this push, dude. And our players are old, man. Tron Armstead, Xavien Howard, obviously Tua Tagovailoa, you have a young core. But a lot of our impact players are old, man. This is a win now year.
Yeah.
If this is a development year, what are we doing? And if it's a win now year, you go out and you help the team. The secondary is shot to hell. You help the team. You bring in secondary. You bring in players that will help the team now. You're trying to win playoff games now. We haven't made the fucking playoffs in how long? Let's make the playoffs and win a playoff game. Like, I don't know if I'm I think
wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that.
So this is who I was gonna say.
I wouldn't mind that.
Names, my trade that I was gonna throw out there is I would overpay to Cleveland to get both of those guys.
If you get both, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Dolphins, Greedy Williams, I liked a lot.
Oh, he's so good in college, man to man.
I want to see him in our system badly, and I think Kareem Hunt is too perfect. I love Raheem Mostert, but I want him healthy for the playoffs. He just knows the system. He is an IQ runner to me. He just knows where he needs to go, and that's all he can do, which is completely fine given his age, his injury history, and to be honest with you, what we're paying him. Kareem Hunt, man, he needs those carries again. People forget how good this man was in Kansas City. He was one of the best backs in the league, and he's still been fantastic for Cleveland, but I'd go up to a damn near high pick to get both of those guys there. We're coming up on 45 minutes, so we're probably going to call it here. I would say we're going to talk about the Bears, but we got the preview episode for that coming up in this upcoming week on Wednesday. So make sure y'all tune in for that. We'll talk everything previewing the Bears, maybe get some other people's thoughts who aren't here on stream today about this win, and we'll talk everything trade deadline. You know something crazy is going to happen. Hopefully Buffalo doesn't get Alvin Kamara. That's my biggest fear.
Oh, man.
100%. Tua is him. This is the best wide receiving duo in the NFL. Fuck you, Charger fans. Fuck you, Jason Sanders. And Byron Jones, thanks for being a captain and a leader. Play the video, Royal.